Today we're going to be making pickled herring. Uh, we're going to start with a brine, and I use salt. So I'm just going to explain this real quick. We're going to go over all the ingredients and the steps, and hopefully we'll get through this okay. But first thing you want to do is make your salt brine, and I like to use extra salt. I use about 2 cups of salt. We're making the brine, and this is how you want to start. I like to make the brine first before I clean my herring, because the key is to make sure everything's cold. And I use 4 cups of water here. And basically, you just mix the water and salt. This is relatively simple, and actually pickling herring is kind of simple. I just mix them together, and you can actually use more water. Nothing has to be exact. Just make sure that solution is super saturated. Super saturated meaning that the salt will not all dissolve after you bring it to a boil. And I'm going to just put this on the stove, heat her up, and just keep her stirring. I don't use a lot of heat, but I just bring that to a boil just to make sure that I dissolve all that salt. And let's get these herring over here into the sink. I'm going to start cleaning them quick. I'm going to show you how I do it. There's a whole bunch of ways to do it, but of course you got to scale your herring. I like to use a butter knife. And these are real easy to scale. These ones are a little tougher because I caught them yesterday, and I let them sit in the refrigerator overnight. So a little bit of dryness factor makes those scales stick a little bit, but it's not too bad. So I just use a butter knife, and those scales come off real easy. If you do them right after you catch them scales will fly right off. I like to keep a paper napkin there just to clean my butter knife off. And you can scale them right over your hand and whatnot. Make sure you stir that salt in between. I don't like to let it sit too much. Just stir it. I don't like to keep a high heat. Something relatively low heat. And again, we're going to finish off these herrings. Just scale them. You know, there's nothing too complicated about this. You could do this any way you want. Just make, get all the scales off. Scales don't scare me too much, but if you want to make sure you get every single scale off there, you rinse them afterwards and whatnot. But we're just gonna scale through them one after the other. And I have about 2 dozen herring here, I think. So that's about the amount of herring that I'll pickle. Sometimes you get 48 fillets. You can use more or less, and we're going to go through this step by step. Let me finish these guys off. Next, we're going to fillet them up. And there's actually 10 million ways to fillet a herring or get it off the bone. My favorite way, I'm going to show you this real quick, but make your cut behind, up above the pectoral fin, go down to the tail, take that fillet. I like to flip the herring back over the other side, cut down, and you have to be very careful because you can see I'm cutting to my hand. I don't suggest doing this, but this is just how I do it. I'll show you with these 2 fillets quick. I saved this for the next step, but I cut off the belly meat on the herring. It's a very thin flap. It has a dark band. It holds those entrails, and I just cut that off. You can keep it on if you want and scrape it off, but I like to cut off that belly piece. This will soften up if you brine and pickle it, but I prefer to keep the prime cuts. And that's basically how you do them. I'm gonna, you know, you can also go up from the tail. Here is another way you can do it, and this way is safer. I find it a little bit slower. You start like normal, cut above the pick, go down towards the tail. Make sure your knife's sharp and whatnot. You take that, flap of meat off, throw it aside. Couple cuts there. I'm going to start my pile of herring on the right, but this is different. I put the point of my blade above the backbone, and I keep my knife angled up and go down with my hand behind the blade. This is how you should do it. This is a safe way. And I come back up and I, remove that fillet. That's the safer way to do it. That's how you should do it. But fillet them, clean them any way you can. And I'm just going to go through the rest of them how I do it. And you'll find you'll build up speed after a couple of herring, I wouldn't worry about the meat left on the bone. Some people, yeah, it's very nice to make sure that you eat everything you catch and be very, conscious on what you keep and eat and whatnot. But there's got to be probably less than, a couple of grams of meat, if not that, on that backbone. So I just like to, fillet them and keep that nice cut. And it pickles great. I'm just going to finish these guys off. I don't know if you guys can hear snoring in the background, but I think that's Jackie. She was sleeping. So if you caught that, that's why. Just be very careful when you clean them like the way I do it. A few people that do it like this, but just be very careful. I was showing you I like to keep a pile. If you could see on my right and my left, I kind of fling those fillets up and toss them on the right side of me. You can see my piles building up, and we're getting down to the bottom of the batch. I'm going to continue on here. And like I said, there's a million ways to clean this. You can actually debone them, which is a great way. You basically gut and scale gut, remove the head. You turn the herring belly side down, pound it, and you can actually just pull that bone out with a spoon. And that works too. But it's just a little extra work. I just don't like. My dog actually barks when Jackie actually barks when she hears pounding. So I stay away from that because one of the reasons, and plus it's an extra step of work. But we're just about done with these now, and I think there's a couple left here. Let's just zip through them. But I'll tell you, a lot of people like to eat fluke bass, sea bass, and blackfish. Me, I like these. I like the fun fish. I like herring, sea robins, sand sharks, and stuff that initiates sustainable fishing. That's just me, but we're just going to zip through these, and I'm almost done now. We're on the home stretch. I hope you are still with me here. You can use a cutting board. I keep newspaper underneath it, and it kind of absorbs a lot of that mess. I got a bag on the left side of me, so I just throw the skeletons in there, so cleanup is quick and easy. Again, I got my pile going above. You can see I just kind of fling those fillets up there till they kind of get in the way, and then I move them over to the side. If you got a bigger counter space, you can have them all over. I got a little bit of space here, as you can see. Work with what you got. That's the important part, just like fishing on the beach and your tackle. Just work what you got, and you'll build up speed as you go. It takes a little practice. You almost hear, like when you cut through them, a little crunching, and then you got a good fillet. These are all coming out really good, so We're just about done here. One of the most, this is like holiday fun. I always love to pickle a couple batches of herring to eat throughout the winter. They stay really well. I eat them up to 3-4 months after. And I don't do nothing special other than what I'm doing to preserve them. Just keep them in the refrigerator. I don't generally jar them. You can. That's a relatively easy process. You could probably look it up online and see how to do that. I think we're just about done with these now. You can see I got my pile of fillets here. I'm going to, that's about it with the skeletons in the bag. Quick rinse of the hands. Okay. And I'm just going to rinse all my fillets off really good and get ready for the next step. You can hear Jackie, huh? Just rinse them really good till you see that stained blood water kind of just go down the drain, and just keep in nice cold water, nice and cold. Just stir them through. Nothing special. A couple scales stuck here, but alright. I'll give them another rinse. Finish rinsing these guys off, and I can do things in big steps, you do everything at once, it goes quick. Like now we're gonna trim off the belly meats. I showed you in the beginning of the video, but I do it all at once. I use a smaller knife and I just zip that little piece of belly section off and throw it aside. I just knock out the rest just like that. And slap it on the board and turn it around and just cut that piece off. Again, a smaller knife for this makes it go a lot quicker. Actually, this knife is probably better off. A smaller blade to fillet them with too is actually a lot better. I think I just grabbed that knife earlier to start off with, but we're gonna finish this. This is just about the last step in cleaning them. And you can give them one more rinse after this. You can't rinse them enough. We're going to salt them down anyway, so. And we just kind of cut those belly sections off as we go. And just like the fillets and the scaling, you build up speed. I'm showing you guys the whole process here. Oh, don't forget, you stir that salt solution in between. You could do this before or after. You want this, make sure this gets cold. So you can do this even the night before and just set it in your fridge. Alright? And let's finish these guys off. Just zip it off. This little piece of meat, and actually this little piece of meat here is an excellent piece of bait. You can actually put them in a Ziploc bag with a sprinkle of salt and pull them out in early, mid, late summer for fluke. Or whatever you're fishing for. It's a beautiful piece because it got the silver belly flash on it, and it's probably better than gulp, I'll tell you that. All right, let's just zip through these. This step's really quick, so I like to do things in steps, and we're just about done. We got our cleaned herring going in a bowl here. I like to keep a bowl just to stack up the final product with, and just get through these, and we're done. I'm going to take a stir here quick. You can see the salt building up on the sides of the pan. That's good. There's even salt on the bottom. That's super saturated saline solution. That's what you want. If you didn't see that salt, it's not super saturated. You can see it here as I'm putting it in the fridge. We're going to let that cool down, okay? And I'm going to throw the fillets. I just got done with these in the fridge too. Let everything get cold. That's the whole key to this whole process. Whenever you mix anything, before you mix it, make sure it's cold. A few hours later, nice and refrigerated cold herrings and nice and cold saline solution. When you mix it with the herrings, the extra salt in that brine will loose it out. So I use these shoe bucket containers. A lot of people use jars. You can use anything. I just keep them in there. These things are fine as long as you're eating them right through the season. You can put them in anything you want. You keep it in a big bowl or whatever. But right now, all we're doing is salting the herring. This is brining them down. So I'm pouring my salt brine on the herrings. A little extra juice. Close them up, and we're going to throw them back into the refrigerator soon. Lock them tight. And these things I like these things. These are like the new storage containers. They work really well for what I do. I've been using these for years. I've been pickling a herring for a long time now, so I tried all different ways. This is my favorite way to do it, and this is just how I do it. And I let them sit overnight, 24 hours, in that salt solution. We're going to get into the brine now, and these are the vegetables I like to use. Onions, basically. Definitely delicious. They brine well. Scallions. Some of these things I like to use because they make a nice hoagie if you put them on Italian bread. Garlic. Tons of garlic. You can't use enough of this. It's really amazing, just like you're making a sauce. Pepper. I like to use the ground pepper. You can use peppercorns and pickling spices, but I use a little sprinkle of this. And my favorite, dill. God, I use tons of this stuff. Tons and tons of dill. I probably use this whole sprig for this recipe. But again, I got, cucumbers are over here. And dill's just amazing stuff. These cucumbers already pre-sliced. I was feeling lazy. To make the brine, vinegar, sugar, any old sugar and vinegar will do, and water. Alright? Cold water. Make sure everything's cold. Everything you do is going to be cold. So I'm just going to throw in, for what I'm doing now, 2 cups of water. Might use more, might use less. I go by feel when I make these things. Make my pickled herrings. Just drop that in your saucing pan or any pan you got. I'm not a cook or nothing like that. I'm not a professional fisherman. I just have fun. Your vinegar, if you're going to use 2 waters, you want to use 4 cups of vinegar. Okay? Well, I like to use 4 cups of vinegar and 2 cups of sugar. But you can vary everything. If you like it a little sweeter, you can use more sugar. You can't use too much of anything to your taste, because everything here is a preservative, and they're going to hold the herring's longevity as you eat it. Just make it the way you like a fish. Remember, I like to use 2 cups of sugar, 4 cups of vinegar, and 2 cups of water. And you just throw that all in your saucepan. This is, I think this is a 2-cup bottle. I think I have, hopefully I got a little bit more vinegar left. But you can leave it a little less vinegar, some people like. But set it up for your general taste, and then you can adjust from there. And just put it all in the saucepan. Make it, good and delicious. And I'm going to need more vinegar. I think if I'm lucky, I'm going to get 2 cups out of the leftovers I have in my regular cabinet. Let's see what we got here. 1. Holy smokes. I weighed that out just perfect. That's pretty much so how I like it. If you like it a little sweeter, use more sugar. If you don't like it as sweet, you don't like sugar, you don't even have to use sugar. Use a little less water, a little more water. And I'm going to put it over here on the heat. Don't heat it too high, but you want to heat it. I bring it to a boil, not too high, but just enough, you know, to evaporate that there sugar. You know, you want to let that sugar go into solution. This is just basic chemistry. And just let it simmer for a bit. And stir it up. And just let that go. The whole key is, you know, you heat things up, you cool them down, you heat things up, you cool them out. A lot of stirring, cleaning your herrings, but there's really not much going on. Okay, we'll just let that heat up, low heat. And I'm going to show you the ingredients I use in just a moment here. Just let that heat up. Okay. Regular onions. Use red or shallots are good too. You just skin them, and I'm just going to peel these guys here quick. Don't have to be nothing special. I think these are Vidalia. You can use whatever you want. It don't matter. And I like to cut things like generally thick. So I'm just going to cut off the ends of these onions. I'm just prepping these right now, and I'm going to chunk them up later. Imagine it's like it was like a chum, like we were fishing or something like that. Take the outer skin off over here. Get that clean, nice clean onion. I throw them. I keep the same bowl there. I think I have my herrings in that same bowl. Fresh clove of garlic. I like a lot of garlic. A lot of us do. A lot of us don't. So just use things like you like your taste. You don't have to use 2 onions. You can use 1. You can use 3. You can use 4. Everything's all going into solution, so it don't matter. So I just kind of like, you know, throw them out there. And just kind of break them off the clove as it goes and whatnot. And get a feel, you know, I like a lot. So I got probably about 8 here. Take those skins off real quick and see what's going on. I got my yellow knife over there. That's my mom's knife actually, and the thing works great. It's really good. I should use that to fillet the herrings, but I didn't. But this one over here, I use the crushed garlic, and I just crush them. That's how I like to prepare my garlic for this. Just put it on top and push down. Put it on top, push down. Put it on top and push down. Just like that. On top, push down. Push down. Sometimes a little more, a little less, whatever. And this one's tough. Push down. And push down. And push down. Got a whole bunch of garlic going here. This is just going to all kind of like, you know, saturate the solution, you know. So some people chop them up. We're not going to chop them, actually. I'm just going to, you know, take those skins off and throw them aside in our, that's my vegetable bowl here. And the vegetables really make this. They make, if you're eating pickled herring, what makes it nice is you have a nice piece of fish, you have a nice piece of vegetable, and so I like to keep things really thick and chunky when I'm making this. That really makes the pickled herring what it is. So I'm just going to, you know, just pull them, after I crushed them, just pull them right out of their husk and just, you know, kind of just throw them into the bowl. You know, this one's being a little tough here, but that's just how it is. You got easy, you know, and whatnot. Scallions are very nice. I like these. I just trim off the roots and I trim off the tops. Of course, you clean in between, and whatnot. Take off that outer husk over here, real quick, and just clean off that outer husk. These are nice if you're going to throw them into a sandwich or something like that on an Italian roll, or you just eat them whole as there is. Really nice taste. And I just basically cut them, the end part, like I said, the roots, and then just a little piece here, a little piece there. Just get them right. You know, get all those outer parts off. You know, no sense eating, you know, half-rotten vegetables if you don't have to. These aren't like ancient times, I guess. It's just all for taste, flavor, and fun. Give them a quick rinse. You see my beautiful dill on the side. That's the main ingredient. But I just basically cut these in half, just like that, and I throw them in my vegetable bowl. My onions, you know, you can cut them any way you want. I just, you know, quick cut in half. Just go down. I like long slivers. I just cut them just as such as you're watching now. Just nice long slivers. Sometimes you can go right across. Throw them in your bowl. And same thing with this guy. You know, long slivers. Nice big chunks. You know, you're thinking you're gonna. I like to eat these with a piece of bread. You know, pickled herrings bread, and these nice thick vegetables really spice it up. It doesn't really spice it up, but it makes it really enjoyable, I think, with the vegetables. I like vegetables, actually. Carrots, I like the baby carrots, so that's half the work right there. Throw them in. I got lucky with these guys. These cucumbers are already cut. Very little seeds. And here is my favorite, the dill. The dill really makes it. This whole sprig here, I probably will use most of it. If not, I'll just leave a little piece left for garnish. But this piece here, probably half of this piece is going to go into the brine. Rinse off. I'm doing a quick rinse. You can rinse them off as long as you want. Let them soak and whatnot. It's a very fine vegetable. Or whatever you want to call it. Just trim off the ends, you know, and it's really nice. Actually, I'm going to use this dill in two processes of the preparation, and you're going to see how I use it. And oh gosh, the cucumbers. These things are beautiful because they accommodate the herrings nicely, better than any vegetable I've ever had. But these are basically all the vegetables I use. But the dill is, as far as flavor in it, my number one. You can't use enough. That's what I say. Alright. Now, we're going to make a wreath. Like I said, I like a lot of dill. This is my flavor in dill. Okay, I make a wreath. I kind of just make a figure 8 knot, 2 double overhand knots, or just kind of roll her over like I'm showing you now. Okay, that's just for our initial brine. So our brine is over here, and it's boiling. Okay. You can see all that sugar is done, melted, whatever you like to say. Nice crystal clear. And we got everything ready now. That wreath I made, I'm going to just drop her in. I'm going to turn off the heat, turn off the heat. That's the whole key to pickling is heat. You don't want heat, but you want flavor. Okay? Any kind of flavor you want. This is where you want to do it now. I like a brine flavor, so that's why I throw in this dill. This dill. And it's actually going to cook. You don't want to cook nothing when you're pickling, but if you want to absorb flavors, this is the time to do it. Just cover and let it sit. It's as simple as that. Just make sure you take it off the heat. You don't want it to really cook, but just absorb flavor. Take it off the heat. Now we're back, and you can see our dill is kind of not cooked, but I guess it is cooked because that brine was boiling. And we're going to basically put it in this big bowl here. Okay? Take that little Christmas wreath, put it on the side. Pour that crystal clear brine into the bowl. And what we're going to do is let everything cool down. You don't want to do nothing hot. Remember, the whole key is make sure nothing's hot. And that's still going to absorb flavor from that dill. That's what I want. You know, that's what I'm looking for. That's my main taste. And I'm going to let that chill. We'll close the door. And we'll continue to the next step. Okay, this is, gosh, I recorded this actually, the audio before. I'm learning how to do this thing like I'm always learning how to fish. The thing went down the tubes, but make sure everything's cold. I tried this audio and it went down the tubes, but make sure everything is cold. I just pulled this out of the fridge. I throw my black pepper in. You can use peppercorns or whatever you use, and all kinds of vegetables, whatever you want. The cucumbers, like I said, I got lucky with these. I scored these in the market. I like to go shopping at the vegetable market late at night when no one's around. That's just me. That's just how I work. You know, I'm a funny-looking feller. Have my ways, so I like to avoid people. But just throw whatever vegetables you like in there. And like this is how I like it. I've been making this for all kinds of years, and I tried it all different ways, but this is my favorite way. And actually, when you eat it, there's all different ways you can eat it. So that's what makes it nice. When you make sandwiches, you get it straight, plain sour cream, oil, vinegar, dilute it with water actually, and cook it and whatnot. But you learn those things as you eat it. Just these are the whatever the onions. I didn't actually cut them. I just broke them up as I put them in. And there's the rest of the garlic and whatnot. So we're gonna get this going. I did an audio take actually before this, and for some reason I don't know if it came out right or whatnot. But so I'm doing a second one here. Jackie's actually still in the background. She's sleeping away. But the whole key to this is to make sure everything is cold. That's what the saran wrap comes in here for. Cover it up. You don't even have to cover it. And vinegar actually acts as a cover. This is just for your own personal. I guess maybe the refrigerator taste, if you got a bad one, covers it. But throw that in there. Make sure your herring fillets are cold too. You just shut the door and watch TV and wait. You can wait however long you want till the next day and just crank out those there herring fillets and get them going. Take them out. And these things should be pretty cold. You know, I'm thinking about 42 or below. Anything above freezing. Actually, the salt on these fillets will not freeze. You could actually probably put these in your freezer, and they'll sit there with that much salt and not get frozen all year long. I do that with my clams sometimes, but that's another topic. I do have secrets. If you ask me questions, I'm always happy to answer. But sometimes I just don't think of things to explain them. But if I'm fishing clams, I actually I'm keeping them in a heavy brine solution in the freezer all year long. But just get these guys. I like to strain them. Some people actually will salt them in salt. Okay? And you don't have to use a brine, but the brine works a lot quicker. You can get them out the next day, but I do 24 hours. I do that salt, I soak them, get it cold, do that brine, pull them out 24 hours later, You can rinse them off. I generally don't. If you use a lot of brine, you're okay. Vinegar brine. So put them in your containers. You can actually use your hands, but I think I just use these tongs for the video. These are actually my crab tongs, so they're really not that sanitary. Just throw them right back there in a container. I use two, because you get a lot of juice coming up, from your vegetable line. And just, all you got to do is, just pour it in. Actually, you could probably just put the fillets in this big giant thing, but we're going to put them in these anyway. So pour in now all that there brine. Distribute those vegetables in your separate containers. Just like that. As simple as that. About how it goes. Make sure you get, your even mixture, of whatever kind of vegetables you're going to put here and there. And just make sure, get the kind of feeling that you want to present. Basically, the vegetables are there for two things: texture and presentation. So that's what you want to do. Like I said, I like a lot of cucumbers and scallions, a couple carrots. Carrots are beautiful. You can see that wonderful orange color. And they're actually very snappy when you bite into them. Get that rest of that juice there in there. Jackie's jumping around over here behind me. Just pat her down. And we're back to the dill. Like I said, this stuff is amazing. Make sure you rinse her off first. Really, pretty good. Really good. I rinsed this off before. I'm going to rinse it off again. I don't really come with rubber bands behind me. I get it from the store up the block here. They're very good. I get it very cheap. This stuff works great on everything. Just squeeze it tight and get that water out and just throw it right in there. And see that beautiful color? That bright green is just like amazing. That's besides the flavor, it's got an amazing look to it when you present it right. That's why I love the dill when I make these things. Two things: it got flavor and color. But gosh, the flavor alone is enough to just work with. I just rip the ends off of these things sometimes. So you just give a nudge it down real quick there, nudge her down real quick there. Make sure it gets, just inside the brine. But the brine does its own thing. Everything's set. Those fillets are deep down there inside there, and this is actually the piece from the soaking. There's a little bit more left to it, so I'm just going to drop that in there for a little extra flavor on the first batch. Maybe I'll use that for the second when I become immune to the first. So that's about it. It looks really beautiful. That's what we're looking for. A really good batch of fillets there. So all we're going to do now is just admire them and hopefully be eating them soon. And gosh, just cover them up. Simple as that. Not too here. Like I said, you can put this in a big giant bowl and just keep it in your fridge with a piece of saran wrap, That's it. We're just about done. All we now got to do now is wait. Throw them right back in the fridge. Top shelf stuff over here. Oh gosh, that looks good. Jackie, drop it. There we go. Just shut her up and it looks good. About 3 days is about right, but I'm going to eat them tomorrow. I'm going to take on different flavors of the day, so I'm going to try some tomorrow. But we'll shut her up and see you tomorrow. And I think this is, well, gosh, the next night, about 24 hours later. And see looks wonderful. You can eat them every day, like I said earlier. They're going to take on a new flavor. And I like to eat them a few different ways, but let's see what we got here. See that beautiful color there? That's what it's all about. Color and taste. Give it a quick mix. So you see the herring isn't exactly 100% pickled, but in 3 days from now they'll blow up as they go because they take on a lot of salt when you do it like this. And see, I got a couple bowls in the background there. You're gonna see why in a little bit, but keep them there. You know, just for preparation. But I'm just throwing them on my cutting board. Get a couple fillets here. And you don't have, throw some vegetables in your bowl. You're going to eat them I mean, this is how you do it if you serve it to guests. When I eat them, I just eat them. You know what I mean? But make things look pretty for people. It's cold out here tonight, actually. Wind's whipping, and this is the perfect night to be eating herrings. I just cut them real quick. Some people cut them actually before they pickle them. I like to cut them as I eat them. Throw them right on top of all those beautiful vegetables. Throw some extras on too. That dill is good, but actually I throw a little more fresh dill on later to give it a nice taste. But there we go. Yeah. Gosh, this is my favorite part here. It's eating them. Take a whole fillet right there. This is how I eat them actually. Take that whole sucker and just, gosh, that's good. Man, just like that, like candy. Beautiful. Another way is a good old-fashioned sour cream. Now, people talk all this hype about pickling with sour cream, all their secret recipes. This is how I do it. I make them just like I did, but you get a big old jar of sour cream. I bought this one special for my herrings. Fresh. Just like we did before. Grab a bunch of fillets. You can actually eat that dill if you want. I like the fresh ones. I like to keep it going. So grab about 4 fillets, 4, 5, 6. That's a good piece of vegetable there. A little knife here. Just, cut them up in 3, 4 quarters. Just like that. That's why I like to pickle them whole. You can eat them different ways. Actually, I like to put them on a big Italian bread with the whole fillets, but get a little bowl here. All you gotta do is throw them in there. Another way to serve them, Actually, it's a totally different taste. A great way to make a sandwich. And cucumbers are really good, especially at this point. Like I said, everything's going to take on a different taste every day of the week. That's the beautiful part of this thing. So you make 3, 4, 5 batches. You just eat them right through. You got something new every day. But you take a little scoop of sour cream right on top. That's it. A little more, a little less. Don't matter. However you like it. But some people make it in a jar and do this and that, a whole batch. No sense to do that. You know, all you do is just like this. You want them with sour cream? One little scoop. Throw them in there. Mix it up. And grab a little couple extra onions from your brine. Actually, the brine juice is good. Ooh, that's a good onion. Actually, the brine juice is pretty good too. You know, in there. I love these scallions right there out of the brine. Oh boy. Mix it up a little more. I'm going to show you what to do now. I always buy extra scallions, extra onions. You know, like I said, this is the best way to serve them to your guests. It's just like these two ways. This, like I showed you earlier, pickled scallion, chop her in half. And then, but these guys you want to chop into little, you know, just like that. It's just going to be a little bit of garnish, give it a little extra taste. It's really nice, actually. I like this more so with the sour cream than the plain pickled herring. You just chop. Right on top, just like that. And you can do it with your regular herring as well. And the dill the same way, actually. Cut in half, and then cut in half. And then just chop real thin, you know. That's going to take on a lot of flavor. They're really fantastic stuff here. I'm not sure if I like the herring or the dill better, but can't use enough dill, and you can't have enough herring. With sour cream herring, just mix it up like it mixed in there. And actually, that makes a really nice sandwich on any kind of roll, any kind of bread, just like that. It's very smooth taste, not very fishy, if you don't like fish. Mix her up, and you got your regular herring. And then, oh man, we're all ready to serve here. It's just, I love this stuff with bread and sour cream, scallions, dill. It's amazing. Just like this. Get myself a big piece of tzatziki bread, fresh from the bakery. Big old tear. You don't want to cut this stuff. This is how I eat it. Big old tear right out through on a big old plate. It's going to be for about 10 minutes later. I'll be digging in there. But you got your regular herrings. You got your creamed herrings. Throw that sucker in the refrigerator, and oh man, we're ready to go. Making a meal with a piece of bread, 12 different ways, all kinds of vegetables. It's just totally amazing. It's intense. All you do is take a big piece of bread. Oh gosh, this is good stuff. What a big old. This is nice though, because you get a scoop of the old cream herring right there, and you see how beautiful that looks. Just all those flavors bursting, and whatnot, and beautiful bread. That's good. Take another piece. The middle piece is actually the bed. You eat that a little bit. And little of the regular herring, just grab that with your. That's just how I eat it. You know. Sorry about the spoon. I'm just doing that for the video. Put it right on top, and just enjoy. Wow, that's good. Even the vegetables, it just make it the best. Wow. I'll be eating this stuff hopefully until the fish show up. Oh man. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and I hope I shared you something good tonight. I know this is a little bit different. I like to do a few of these every time of the year, and thanks for watching. That's a mixed bowl. That's a pickled and a regular herring and a gaziki bread. Beautiful winter dinner. Again, thanks for watching. See you next season, and have a beautiful night. Enjoy.